So on number 28, cut off right towards the beginning, but as you can see, I didn't realize it. I already did my work. But FOIL, first, 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Outside, 2x times -1 is negative 2x. Inside, 2x times 1 is 2x. Last, 1 times -1 is negative 1. These two will cancel, so you're left with 4x squared minus 1, and there's the answer. Again, this is just a binomial times a binomial. So first is 5x squared. Outside, 15x. Inside, minus 4x. Last, negative 12. Add like terms. 5x squared plus 11x minus 12. And you're done. So, big temptation here. A lot of students are going to go, oh, I'm just going to square that, and I'm going to say 4x squared plus 25. And if it's a multiple choice situation, I guarantee you this is an option, and a lot of students will fill it in, and it's wrong. Why? Because if you went 2 plus 3, and you squared it, and you did it that way, you'd get 2 squared plus 3 squared, which is 4 plus 9, which is 13. And that's obviously not right, because 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 squared is 25. This is correct. So you can't do that if this is addition or subtraction. So how do you do it? 2x minus 5, 2x minus 5, and then you FOIL it out. So this times this is 4x squared. This is negative 10x. This inside is negative 10x. And negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. So 4x squared minus 20x plus 25. There is the correct answer. Now we're being asked to go to a factoring of trinomials. Remember what we nicknamed this? Gotta one. And if it's a gotta one, you can go immediately to your parentheses. X and x. What are two factors of 49 that add up to negative 14? Negative 7 and negative 7. If you wanted to, because these two are the same, you could write it either way. But be aware that multiple choice, it could give you one or the other. This is the difference of two squares. You just need to look at it and be able to notice that. See, this is a perfect square root, and this is a perfect square root. That's why it's called a difference of two squares. So one has to be plus, one has to be minus. The square root of x squared, you put first. The square root of 81, you put second, and you're done. Now, example 32b is a little bit harder, but it's the same, because this is a perfect square root, and so is this, and we have a difference. So we stick with the program. One's a plus, one's a minus. The square root of that is x squared. The square root of that is 9. And you think you're done, but you're not, because this is another difference of two squares, so that kind of just keeps on going. So that's a plus, that's a minus. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 9 is 3. And strangely, you can try for the rest of your life to try to factor a sum of two squares, and you can't. So that would be your answer right there. Now, number whatever this is, 33a, this is a not a 1. So I taught you guys to multiply. It would be negative 18. Two factors of negative 18 that add to negative 7, negative 9 and 2. I'm going to keep it in this order. You'll see why in a minute. 3x squared minus 9x plus 2x minus 6. Insert parentheses. Remember how I want the plus in between there? That's why I wrote the positive 2 second. I'm going to take out as much as I can here. So that'd be a 3x. I'd be left with x minus 3. Take out as much as I can here, which is a 2. I'd be left with x minus 3. I see that I have a match here, which is good. So I take the match out. And now they're gone. And I'm left with 3x plus 2. And I'm done. This one gets a little tricky if they don't rearrange things nice for us. But because it's an exam, I bet you they arranged it nice for us. So here, we're just going to take an a out. We'd be left with b minus 2. Here, we take a 3 out. B minus 2. Notice this matches with this. So we take one of those out. And we're left with a plus 3. Okay, so number 34 says factor this mess completely. First thing you should always be asking yourself, is there something I can take out of this? And yeah, the answer is 4x. You'd be left with x squared minus 4. Now, because it says completely, that means you might not be done, even though you did something. And if you notice, this is once again a difference of two squares. So one of them's plus, one of them's minus. Take the square root of that, put it first. Put the square root of that, put it second. And then you just bring that 4x along for the ride. And there you go. You're done. Next problem says solve. So we're back to solving. Well, because this is a difference of two squares, we're going to factor it. And as you can see, you better know how to do differences of two squares. They've been in some of the last 4 or 5 problems. One's a plus, one's a minus. Take the square root of 3b squared, or excuse me, of 9b squared. It's 3b, 3b. Take the square root of 25. It's 5 and 5. So you've factored it, but now you need to solve it. So you're going to take this first thing. You're going to set that equal to 0, and then solve it. So I get 3b equals negative 5, divide by 3, divide by 3. I get b is negative 5/3. Now I got to do the same thing with this one. 3b minus 5 equals 0, so I add 5, add 5. 3b equals 5, divide by 3, divide by 3. I get b is 5/3. So there's that one. This one's similar, but first I got to factor this gotta one. So I just factor it. X, two factors of negative 12 that add up to 1. That'd be plus 4 and minus 3. And I can just look at this. What plus 4 is 0? Negative 4. What minus 3 is 0? 3. Done. Now, notice this was set equal to 0, set equal to 0, and this isn't set equal to 0. So this is a little bit of a pain in the butt factor, but no big deal. So now I got 6x squared plus x minus 5 equals 0. Now I have a nada one. So we multiply, we get negative 30, two factors of negative 30 that add up to my 1, negative 5, and 6. And I'm going to rewrite it in this order. 6x squared minus 5x plus 6x minus 5 equals 0. Now I'm going to insert my parentheses, factor by grouping, take an x out, 6x minus 5. I can take a 1 out. Remember, you have to take something out. And now I see that I have a match, so that will be 6x minus 5. You only take 1, and then you're left with x plus 1. And now you solve it. What plus 1 is 0? Negative 1. How am I going to figure this out? Well, if you struggle, just literally set equal to 0, and then solve. 6x equals 5. Divide by 6, I get 5/6. There's my two answers for that problem. Number 38, if you remember, I warned you, don't you dare divide by the thing you're trying to find, so don't you dare divide by x. Stick with the program. Set equal to 0, I gave you that clue, so we're going to subtract 49x from both sides, so we get x cubed minus 49x equals 0. Now we're going to take an x out. We're left with x squared minus 49 equals 0. This is a difference of two squares, so I got to factor it. X minus 7, x plus 7. Now I'm going to get 3 answers. What can I put in here to make it all equal to 0? 0. What can I put in here? 7. What can I put here? Negative 7. And there's my 3 answers for that problem. All right, so these next problems are going to move along pretty quick. So this is just simplification. So what goes into 9 and 6? 3. So this turns into 3 halves. Where are there more x's? In the top. By how many? 3. Where are there more y's? In the bottom. By how many? 5. Just trying to keep it simple. This one we got to do a little work first. 3 cubed is not 9. It's 27. Now there you got to go power to a power. So that's x cubed, y to the 9th. All over. That negative 3 is not squared because it's not in the parentheses. But now I go power to power, so I multiply. and I go y squared. Now I reduce. Remember, this is what I referred to as number land. Just, you've been doing this forever. So that's -9, goes in the top. Where are there more x's? In the bottom by 1. Where are there more y's? In the top by 7. And there's your answer. Similar stuff, power to power, power to power. So I get x to the -4, y to the -2. Now I'm just going to rewrite the bottom here. And the way I taught it in class was pretty simple, I think. And that is, if it's -4 degrees upstairs and it's 2 degrees downstairs, where's it warmer? Well, it's still cold in both places, but it's warmer in the basement. By how many degrees? 6. This is -1. This is -2. Where's it warmer if you think of temperature? Well, it's freezing down here, but it's really freezing by 1 more. Anyways, it's warmer by 1 degree in the y value in the bottom. All right? Okay. Let's go power to power here. So I get x to the -6. There is an invisible 1 here. So that'd be y to the -3 times. Now, anything to the 0 power is just 1. So it's like there's a 1 there. So 1 squared is just 1. Then power to power, I get y to the -2. Now, there are a few ways of doing this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, I'm just going to clean up this first, because when the bases are the same and you're multiplying, you would add the exponents. And then I remember I'm not done until I've obeyed those commands. This means put me where I ain't. This means put me where I ain't. So that just means flip. And then once you've obeyed the commands go away. And there's your answer. All right, moving right along. We're up to number 43. Don't you dare start canceling these x squareds just because you want to. Remember, it's factor, 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 factor. These take a while. So 2 times -3 is -6. 2 factors of -6, they add up to 5, -1, and 6. So 2x squared minus 1x plus 6x minus 3. Insert parentheses, take an x out, 2x minus 1, take a 3 out, 2x minus 1. So I get 2x minus 1, x plus 3. That's in the top. The bottom's a lot easier because I have a gotta one. So I can go right to my parentheses. X and x, 2 factors of 3 that add up to 4. Pretty easy. 3 and 1. Now I factor. And I'm left with 2x minus 1 over x plus 1. If you want to put parentheses around those, you can, but you don't have to. And there you go. All right, number 44. Again, for about the 8th time, we got a difference of 2 squares. I hope you're getting good at those. One's a plus, one's a minus. You take the square root of the first one and put it in the first spot. Put the square root of the second one in the second spot, and you're done. This is one of those nasty nada ones. So -36, 2 factors of -36, up to -5, -9, and 4. So 6x squared minus 9x plus 4x minus 6. Put in parentheses. Take a 3x out. 2x minus 3. Take a 2 out. 2x minus 3. I can see I got a match there. So I'm going to put that right up here. 2x minus 3. And now I have 3x plus 2. And I can see that these match, so they cancel. 2x plus 3 all over 3x plus 2. And you're done. I think those are the hardest ones on the darn exam review. Well, I'm going to have to finish this off on a final video, so we'll see you in a second.